Now, what we're going to do, we'll set the contact form. So let me just close all first. Okay. Now, in our first and foremost, in our assignment, we're going to add manage feedbacks, right? Okay. We have another option, manage feedback, feedbacks from customers. Okay. So let me say set as the icon. Okay. Manage feedback. So now I'm going to save this as okay feedback manager. Okay. Feedback. Yes, I save as that is yeah. I'm using the user manager to create feedback manager. Okay. So that means everything here now is what is inside the user manager. So what I'll do, I'll remove all the JavaScript code except this place where we have our title. Let's say headset. Okay. Then here we simply say manage feedbacks. Okay. So here we can even still change here to jQuery. Okay, we've not added jQuery here. Okay, we've added it actually. So we can even change here to jQuery pattern by saying dollar here, then we'll put hash place. Then we don't have inner HTML with jQuery. Please watch these things I'm changing. We have the vanilla version of it in the other file that we done recently. Okay, so you can do your comparison from the vanilla part. Okay, so here we don't have inner HTML, rather we have HTML as a method in jQuery as a method, and this whole thing will go inside the method. So there's no need for equal to here. Okay, so this is jQuery pattern. Okay, so this is huh? This one is what will determine your this particular title here. Okay, so that's the AZ icon on the menu. So we simply change our feedback hyperreference to manage what's the name of okay feedback manager. Okay, feedback underscore M N G R. Okay, so that's the name feedback manager. Okay, you understand? Huh? ID. This is not ID, this is a link. Oh. Hyper reference. You are linking it to this file. It's not ID. Please. Are you looking for this ID? It's on the menu. This is it here. This band here that is showing this yes, when you click on it now, it will change the icon and this thing. Yes, on the page, on that particular page, when you are on that page, we run this script to determine the title. Okay, so what is doing now is just locate any element that have this ID, AG icon, then put this inside this HTML into it. So it will replace what was there. So that's why this guy is changing. Watch, it's changing. Okay, so here on this place, we also have this. So what we're going to do here is we don't need this first part now. Okay, we don't need this first part. And here, we don't need grid. Okay, to make this easier, I'll simply go and look for tailwind table. So you can go to tailwind components.css. If you're connected to your internet, please let me connect. Okay, I'm not connected. Let me try get tailwindcomponent.com. You see some free components and some paid components. Okay, I can simply search for table. Okay, so just to save our time, so we look for a simple table. A simple table. Let's just take this. Okay, we go to show code. There's something wrong here. Refresh this page. Okay. Okay. So this is just very simple. So let's show code. When you show code, you see how the table is. It's a table. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this code. Okay. Now I'll place it here. Place it here. What? It's here now. This is it now. This is here. Inside there. Okay, that's the top thing. Okay. So I collected the table head. Now collect the table body as well. Okay. So after the head, you have the body. Okay. So it's all the style CSS. So I close my table body. I close my table. So I think that's all I need. So when I come here, refresh this, I have the table. Okay? So I don't need to, I can adjust my styling the way I want it. Okay? So first thing first, let me see what they did here and see if there's anything for us to adjust. Just padding. If I want to change the padding, okay, it's too much for Y. Okay, so I'll simply change here to X, then reduce for Y. So padding Y to, let's see how it is. Okay, good. Then for the BG black, we simply use our color, which is 900. Okay, then give us some color. Okay, so next thing is let's just go with the flow. Now, I'll simply copy this same thing. Okay, replace it with this. Okay, so everything will be sync. Everything will. I don't know if you have margin button. Okay, supposed to be the margin button. Let's see how it is. There's something I'm not good at talking. I think it's okay like this. Okay, so this is it. So the next thing we're going to do is I would just what we want to do is this is our table. We want to bring in the, the content of this uh, this contact into this table. That means we are not pulling as card this time around. We're pulling into a table. Okay? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Instead of pulling the detail into cards now, okay, pull them in form of tables. Okay, so you can do it such a way that pull it in form of table. On click of this, let it pull the detail in a folder. So, on click of any of the record, that means you might not get the entire detail. You get something like view. Okay, something like view. Okay, so will have view. We will have view. You can have view the details of the message. Okay. So now, let's say we need the name of the person, we need the subjects, okay, and the email. Let's say these are the three things we need. Okay, need the name, the subject, and the email. So therefore, we will simply say this is name. So let's just say full name. Okay, the email, right? Email address. Then the subject. We don't need the message. Let's just use the subject so that on click of it, you get the full details. Now, if we do this, we'll be lacking because okay, this is just like you know what this means. 1/4. That means divide the parent into four, okay, and take one part. So if the parent is divided into four and we have three elements here, that means we will one part is missing. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. 1/4, that means when you share the parent into four, take one part. Okay? So that is to say we have to make it equal. That means we have to change this four based on their styling. We have to change it to three because we have three columns here. Okay? Now, so that is just it. So here now, this row will now be determined by uh, the content coming from our database. Okay? So now, this is it. So let's just say this is James Bond. I don't know why I like James Bond. Uh, so the Gmail address is bond at let's say mail.com. Then the next thing, let's say we have a subject. Let's say hello to you. Okay, let's say that's the subject. Okay, so let's see how it is. Here's it. Okay, and this then we can still just add some little effigy to it by saying on hover, let the background be gray, let's say 100 or 200. 200, okay. So with this, hover to our background, okay. You can also make the cursor pointer, okay. Cursor pointer, okay. So okay, so clickable, okay. Or we can say instead of this uh, row button, setting. Okay, let's leave it like this. Okay. So what we are going to do now is to pull the detail here. Now, okay. Uh, pardon me. We might need a fourth row here. Okay. We might need a fourth row. So I'll change it back to four. Change it back to four. Okay. Okay. Now on the fourth row, I can make I can just leave it blank. Okay. There's nothing on it. Okay. But here I will now have some action buttons on it. Okay. So the first thing, okay, my data is on. So I'll have auto correct my copilot helping me out this. Okay. But let's see how one of autopilot suggested. We have something like this to view the detail. Then also we uh, also have something like Just copy this. Okay. Also have a button with BG, let's say BG red. Okay, that will have something like a trash pot. Okay, that will be the delete button. Okay, okay, I already changed it here. This is BG red. Okay, so this, yeah. Okay, so in this case, we don't need edit, but there are some cases where we will need edit. Like, assuming we are using maybe user manager, like here now, we're supposed to have something like edit here. Now we can use to edit, delete. You understand? We didn't add all those things, but we're supposed to add them on this part too. And let's just say this what we need here. Okay. So with this, to view detail, remember it's not everything we are seeing here. Like you're not seeing the phone number, you're not seeing the message. So when you click on this, you see the entire detail of this particular feedback waiting for the user. Okay. So let's just say those are the three buttons we need. We don't need edit. But in case we need edit, you can add edit to it. Okay. So I'm going to reduce uh, the buttons, their padding. I'm going to receive the padding. So I'll do this, and this. Okay, sorry. Let me reduce the amount of padding. Okay, PY. Okay, should I reduce only the PY? Okay. I think it's still okay. So now, what we're going to do here is this. Okay. I'm going to give, okay, let's run our jQuery to fetch the details. Okay. So what I'm simply going to do, I'm still going to copy. We did it here. So I'll just copy what we did here. Yes. Okay. So I'll just paste it here. Okay. So here, first of all, we'll say load feedback or fetch feedback. Okay. Change the name of the method, fetch feedback. Okay. I will fetch feedback. That means under here we'll be calling fetch feedback, right? Now, we're going to have save contact. Let's create another method called, let me rename this guy to, let's just call it feedbacks. Okay, or let's say contact feedback so that you don't get confused. We are looking at it later. Okay, that the feedbacks from the contacts. Okay, okay, contact feedbacks. Okay, so when we save contact feedbacks, and this time around, we're going to get, we are selecting all from this contact, right? So now we are not ordering by the full name, rather we are going to order by the date that contact was submitted. Okay, the date and time. That means when the contact was submitted, that is what we are ordering by, and we are ordering by the sending order. Okay, that means the last message that was submitted will be the first on our table. You get? Okay, so we fetch everything and keep it here. Huh? Yes, we change a lot of things. Okay, so this will be our feedback query, or we can just say query string, like I said, just a variable. Okay, so our query string will now be here. Okay, so this one will be the query response. Okay, now what I'm going to do here now is this. Okay, I think I'll do almost the same thing. Okay, almost the same thing. Okay, so if query response is equal to true, okay, then we're going to say if query is number of row is blah 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 blah, then error occur if it's less than 0. But if it's greater than 0, then we have all the feedbacks as an array. Okay, okay. Then You should understand everything I'm doing, right? If you don't understand, please let me know. Okay, let me explain it little by little. Now, this is our query. This is the SQL. Okay, we selected all from contacts, order by created that. You understand this, right? Huh? So this is where we run the query. This is where we actually query the database, and we got a response. Okay. Now we say if we got a response, that means it's true. Okay. Now check how many rows. Okay. Check how many rows. Okay. I hope you understand. That's how many record do we have? How many record of response do we have there? Okay. Uh-huh. So now, even with this, let me remove this query. No, let me add it. Okay. Now I'll add it. If it's greater than zero, that means there are records. So if there are records, let's have an empty array feedbacks, then loop through the whole response. Okay. For each of the response, okay, for each of the response, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. It's a PHP method, the default method. Okay, that works with this object, this MySQL object. Okay, since this guy is connecting using this guy, okay, you get this method from it. You can get this method fetch assoc, or you can get method fetch array. They are default PHP method. Okay. Yes. No, don't worry. It's the same thing. Okay, let's see. So here we'll be accumulating the feedback. Okay, feedback, feedbacks array using the feedback. Okay, so at the end of the day, this will get the feedbacks. Okay, we get the feedback at the end of the day as this. Okay, please let's round up this class, please. Okay, so feedback feedback record, and like what I said when we were doing this, I said there's no need of this. Okay. uh yes, there's no need if we have this. So now I have the feedback. Now on error, that's where I have message. But now I want to do something here. Yes, now that I'm still changing now, I'm still editing. So but I want to do something here now. I want to do something here. Now what I want to do is this. I will still make this success. This is depending on the logic, anything you feel like doing. Okay. I'll still make this success. Okay. But what I will do is this. Here I'm going to add something else to this, like uh, uh, let's say number of records or number of rows. Okay, is equal to this number of rows. Okay, that means the number of rows here. Okay, then this I can simply do this simply here too. Okay, this is just for learning purpose. If not normally, if I'm working, if I'm doing a normal this thing, I'm not supposed to do this. Okay, there are better ways of handling this situation. Okay, so I just want to make it easier, simple for you. That even on this, that is to say, even if I don't do this num row, I can just go with number of rows. Since I have number of record here, to simply tell me that okay, zero or a particular number. Okay, so the reason why I'm returning this, you are going to see it very soon. Okay, so return this. Okay, so it will only come if there's an error. Okay, so with this, in our front end, we are sending the request to the contact feedback. Okay, contact underscore feedback dot php. Okay, so here I'm going to change this. Let me change this to record. Let me just call it record. Notice just let's just say records. Okay. Now, when we say records, now from the back, we're getting feedbacks. Feedbacks. Okay. Okay. So we're going to say, and the feedbacks is an array, right? So we're going to say if result of status is equal to success. Okay. Now, this is what I want to do here now. Let me just remove everything so that it will be easier for us. Okay. So that's okay. If it's equal to success. Now you know that we have success in case of this. We also have success in case of this. But the difference is the number of rows. Okay. So I will simply say if another if statement. Okay. I want to check the number of rows. Okay. If response. Okay. If response. Okay. Response dot number of rows. Okay. Is greater than 0. Okay, then simply say declare a variable. You can use jQuery since jQuery is connected. You can say records. Sorry, excuse me. So I'll simply say records is equals an empty string. Okay. So when I say record is equals an empty string, and I'll now say response dot feedbacks dot for each. Okay. Now I would simply just finish this up. Sorry, finish this up. Okay. Okay, let me just disconnect this. Let me do it normally. Okay. Response dot for each. Okay. Then I'll say feedback. Okay. Then I have this. Okay. So with this, for each of the feedback, I'll simply have my records. That's dollar records. Okay. Then plus equal to this. Okay. Now, what I'll simply do is copy this guy, everything, yes. We just copy everything, the whole row, because we're going to have multiple rows as we add more this. So I'll copy the whole row and place it inside this guy. Okay? So the whole row is going to be inside it. Okay? Now, individual part like the name, we're going to have dollar with this. Then we'll say the variable, which is feedback, right? Dot full name. Okay? Same thing applied to this. So let me just copy this. So put this, change this to email. What again? Subjects, the subjects. Okay? So I'll simply paste this, then say this is the subjects. Okay? Okay. Now, for us to target the button, we will need to put a class here. Okay, we need to put an ID here. Okay, we need to put an ID here. Now, the ID, we are going to paste the ID of that is from the table now. The ID of that record. Remember, we have the ID as this thing too. So we're going to paste the ID there. Then we will now have a class inside each of the button. Like we can say btn underscore delete. Why this one will be btn underscore. Okay, this one is a delete. Why this one is, let's just say btn view. Okay, so if we save this with this class, we'll be able to get which one is which. Okay, so now if after we must have accumulated the whole record here, after the for each statement which ends here, we'll now call the ID that we're going to pass the data into. That means we have to give this guy an ID, right? Okay, so we're going to give it an ID. We'll simply say ID is equal to, let's say, feedback list. Okay, okay, or let's say feedbacks. We don't have anyone that is an ID. Just variables. Okay, let's just say table body underscore feedback. Okay, let's say that's the ID. Table body underscore feedback. So here we'll simply say hash table body underscore feedback. Okay, dot html. Okay, is equal to, what are we passing into it? We're passing the records. Am I correct? These are the records now. Or should we call it feedback records so that we know? Feedback records, okay? Feedback underscore records. That means here we're going to have feedback records, okay? So pass in the feedback records here. So with this, there's an error somewhere. Where is this error coming from? Okay. If this, if this, if row, else, expected comma. Okay, let me see. Okay, this one ends here. This one ends here. Okay, this one ends here. Coming. Okay, I think we're supposed to end this guy. Yeah. So this is what we have. So we're good. So with this is if the whole thing, if there are records on it, okay? So if there are no record, what about if there are no record? What will happen? Okay? If there are no record, what will happen? So let me copy this. Let me just copy from the whole thing, okay? I'll paste this here. Okay? Now, if there are no record, I don't need this. Okay? I don't need to loop the feedback. Okay? So I don't need this as well. Okay? And I don't need to accumulate this. Okay? So what I will just simply do is there will not be any feedback here, any ID here. Then there will not be multiple tables. Okay, multiple column rather. Then this one will be width full. Okay, then we will now have something like, let's say, no record found. Okay, so this is what will now be inserted into the feedback. Okay, so this one will end here. Then this one, if response is else for the response, this else now is for the response. If the status is error, then we'll alert maybe the response of message. Okay, response dot message. Okay. Okay. So response of message. So with this now, we come here, refresh our page. Uh, let's say we have an error. Feedback records is not defined. In where check here, feedback records, feedback records is not defined. Let's see. Okay, dollar sign. Okay. Yeah. So we have our feedback. Okay. So if I delete this feedback, for instance, okay, we'll come back here. We're supposed to have, we have an error. Say feedback record is not defined. I think it's same error. Okay. So we have no record found. Okay. So let's try add feedback again. James Bond. Feedback from James Bond. Let's say this is our message and we send and click OK. Then when we refresh our page, we have a feedback. So if you send another message again, let's say this time around from DC, let's just say any one of them. Okay, let's just say this. Let's say please help DC. Okay, okay. I say village are at work. Okay. So we send the message and we say, okay, yeah, BT, we are going to help you as soon as possible. Okay. So is it, oh, we have a problem here. But this problem is not the problem I'm going to solve today. So let's end the class for today.
I'm not sure if I'm when we do the list, it's supposed to look at the person's name. Like take the name. But
The name.
it's beauty. That's it. There's one
Okay,
that
okay,
makes sense.
okay, okay, yeah, that is up to you. You can do that. Okay, you can do that. It's just simply when you are sending the feedback, where do we save the feedback? That is here, you have the full name here in the variable. So you can just append it here. Okay, so it's up to you. Okay, so that's what we call it today. Is then we go and attempt to astros.